You're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast, and I'm the King of Catterday, and it's Scary fucking Jay.
Hey, yo.
If I can be serious for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Acknowledge me. What's going on, everybody out there? And sit down, Markland. Come on in, sit down. It's episode number 154 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. And today it is WrestleMania season. So today it is WrestleMania, the prelude, as we're calling it around here. So I want to bring in my two Marks today. The host on the East Coast with the most. You know, he's the boss. That's right. Primo from the pod. What's going on, brother? Good to see you.
What up? A little bit of a Sunday night delight. We're doing this special for all you Marks out there. So get ready, get your ears ready to listen to our voices talk about wrestling. Happy WrestleMania week to those who celebrate.
And the most dedicated independent professional wrestling fan out there. He just got done logging the miles today. So you got to excuse him. He was a little dragging down. He just got off, a long weekend on the road. We're going to talk about that later. What's going on, Dylan? Good to have you back, brother.
What's up, boys? We're thriving and vibing over here. It's Mania week, best weekend of the year, most wonderful time of the year. I'm fired up. Let's go. We got
this is Christmas week for wrestling.
Exactly.
It is, man, because we're fired up for Raw. SmackDown's going to be hot right into the big weekend. Monday after Raw is always sick, man. Yeah, so it's our Christmas time, man, for sure. I want to thank everybody listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and over on sportswireradio.org. And I want to thank everybody checking us out right now on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Go check us out over there. Give us a follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We sure do appreciate it. And yeah, we want to thank you. We're a couple days late from our usual time slot as we usually are. We come at you during the week, but things happen in life, and sometimes we have to sidestep, so we still want to get the pod coming out this week. But not only one, we got another one coming out later in the week too, so we'll talk about that later. We got another guest coming on the pod later in the week. So all right, boys, man, it's about that time, Primo. So if you're ready, brother, it is hot start time, man. 5 topics in the world of pro wrestling. All right, topic number 1, boys. So we got this the Hall of Fame now, and they've created this legacy wing. I wanted to get your opinion on this because so they've created this legacy wing, and I think the couple first inductees are Kamala, Ivan Koloff, who I'm a huge fan of. He was a big heel to me when I was younger, big part of my childhood. And I think maybe Dory Funk Sr. might be one of them. So, this is a little unfair to me. You know what I mean? Like, do these guys still get rings? Are they still considered Hall of Famers?
Okay.
What's the question? Right?
I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Did you just want to give them a regular Hall of Fame induction?
Right.
Like, I mean, I get it. As far as, I don't know, man. I can also have an opinion on the Hall of Fame match thing they're doing, but we'll start with this. As far as this goes, I'm of the same mindset that you're thinking. I mean, I'd still like to. You're number one. You're clumping these guys together. They're not getting their own special moment individually. But so they're getting inducted into the legacy wing of the Hall of Fame for WWE.
Right.
I mean, I guess it's still cool they're being recognized, so I won't take that away from them. But it seems a little bit lesser than.
Sure. Seems like a Hall of Very Good to me.
Yeah.
Just not fame.
It's like a way to get him in without having to be really depressing. Can be like, we should have put this guy in when he was still alive, but we screwed up.
Right.
So, if they're still getting recognized. I would have sworn Ivan Koloff was already in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
I just kind of assumed he would have been. But, maybe not. So at least they're going in. I just don't want this to be like the new default. Like, oh, let's just wait because we can put them in. But if we don't, we'll get them in eventually. I don't want it to be like let's wait on the older guys. They still need to get their time in the spotlight, still need to get to do their speech and everything like that.
I don't want this to become a trend where we're just clumping together old heads that unfortunately, they didn't give them their due flowers when the time was right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. I totally agree with that, man. And it seems like too, it's like will they come back later and say, okay, now we're gonna put you in the Hall of Fame. You've been upgraded. You know, yeah. It
You
seems
paid
like,
for your business back.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But like you're in or you're not in. Like you should still get your speech, or they better still get a ring. You know what I mean? Or the surviving family, I guess, or you know
Yeah.
something like that. You know, maybe. But yeah, it's a little interesting.
I mean, they could. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's a little interesting, but you know, I mean, I guess it's better not getting recognized at all. I guess so. Yeah. All right, topic number 2, boys. Wanted to get your opinion on this one as well. See how you guys are enjoying the El Grande Americano gimmick by Chad Gable. At least I think that's who it is. I'm not exactly sure. I'm just
That's like saying that Lucha Daddy is primo.
I'm just taking that's true. I'm just taking a big guess here. You know, he returned. I got a little graphic up on screen right now if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook of his return to his hometown, Minnesota, Minneapolis, as well, that's Chad's hometown. So yeah.
I don't know, man. I saw a really totally not Photoshop picture of El Grande Americano and Mil Mascaras and Blue Demon. So I don't know what this Chad Gable talks about, but I will say that I am loving it.
Yeah. You liking it, Dylan?
Well, yes and no. So I like it. I don't love that it's a WrestleMania angle.
Sure.
Right.
It's like the storyline in itself. Chad leaving to go to Mexico and find out how to beat a luchador, and I guess he's still
right.
He's came back. I don't know who this El Grande Americano is, but now he's showed up to fight all the luchadors. Maybe they met in Mexico. I don't know, but yeah, exactly. But it's WrestleMania. I would rather see both Rey Mysterio and El Grande Luchador doing something different at WrestleMania.
Right.
But that's just me.
To me, though, they got to make this okay. This to me kind of comes off as the comedy segment because you look at all the matches they've announced so far.
Yeah,
most of them are like storyline hardcore. Most they're trying to kill each other. This might be the comedy spot. They need to make this mask versus mask, and then we're on. Right?
Yeah.
And then we're on.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do this very long.
Those WWE writers that are listening to this show, book it, and you owe DB royalties when you do it.
Yeah, I was on the airplane a lot last couple of days, so I was just thinking about this dumb stuff.
I will say, El Grande Americano is shredded.
Oh man, dude, he is in some great shape. Like, does that dude got an inch of fat on his body?
No, I don't think so. He does a really good German suplex. That delayed German suplex, kind of like Chad Gable does.
Right. Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah. Very similar. We don't want to, make any assumptions.
Right. On anybody, I don't want to accuse Chad Gable of anything. Right. He's been down with a cold.
Yeah.
So.
Right. All right, boys. So topic number 3, we gotta talk about this Charlotte Tiffany segment from a couple days, week ago.
Yeah, it was last week.
Where there was a lot of real life stuff brought up, and basically, from Tiffany on to Charlotte, but I do think a little bit of this was off script. I don't think it was all, off script, but it was kind of awkward. But if AJ was here, like
oh my gosh.
if AJ was here, no, I want to talk about this. Like he would be throwing his pen down and be like, oh my God. But I'm figuring out now, like how in the middle Charlotte is, you know what I mean? And she's, struggling, like, she struggled that night. Like you could tell, like, they went off shoot and she couldn't really like fire back. And, maybe that, is 0-3 and divorce, angle.
That was a solid line from Tiffany.
I mean, it was. I mean, and I hope that was, talked about, but I think it came off. It's supposed to came off in like a meaner way. None of us believe that Kaiser was.
I saw that meme. It said that Ludwig Kaiser is the first.
I was gonna say just like the meme
guy, to be accused of cheating and not have to prove it.
Right. Yeah. But I want to talk about you guys because since then I think Charlotte's attacked her in the parking lot, and something like that, and so I just wanted to say, like, is this, does it make you any more interested in the match? Because I feel like this one's kind of the one that's not hitting on much right now because they kind of had to. That's why I'm like feeling like they went shoot because they had to get some sort of steam. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we knew this match was the match that they were going to go with, like since the Rumble. I mean, even when we were talking about the Rumble, when we said that Charlotte was going to win, that's what we said was going to happen. But yeah, I agree. I think this is my stinker.
I mean, they put out a Mania lineup. This looks like this match might co-main the first night. So yes, I don't know. I feel like they might have a little work to it, but between now and then, but I'm going to agree with AJ here if AJ was here, because he's a big time Charlotte hater, and I just kind of see now why she's kind of not getting over. I feel like the hardcore Flair fans, like myself, and her being friends with my wife, like. It's kind of maybe the only reason I'm a fan of her because I was trying to like maybe look at it like, like I think she's got unbelievable skill. And I'm just talking about her character here. I'm not talking about her because she can go. I mean, obviously, you know what I mean? But yeah, like she's the mic struggle is for real. And how do you repackage Charlotte? You know what I mean? Like she kind of feels a little unpackageable, a little unrepackageable, kind of.
Yeah, she's kind of in already in a box.
Yeah, you can't make her a pirate or or some sort of like gimmick,
a superhero in training.
Yeah, I think that like the fans would just kill her, and. The fans have been hijacking the shows a lot lately. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, man.
Don't get me started on that.
We could talk about that a lot. And, they're in American cities and they're doing this Roman Reigns.
It's the worst
Roman Reigns.
chant.
Like, we don't do that stateside.
Number one, I can't
thing.
stand it because, anyway, next, you'll get me started on this. But
yeah. So when, so that happened in Charlotte, in Chicago, excuse me.
Yeah, I still think the match at WrestleMania will be fine. I'm not super worried about that.
Yeah,
as long as the fans don't decide that's when they're going to shit and take over the show. If that goes crazy, then the match could take a turn. But hopefully with it being WrestleMania, they won't. But yeah, that segment was just not good, regardless of if that was planned or not planned or how much of it was planned. The Charlotte mimicking Tiffy's voice was just like, what are we doing? That's
why are we acting like
middle school
right now?
Elementary.
Yes.
That's
what you do when you don't have nothing else to do.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Literally, Charlotte seemed like she was out of ideas there.
Right.
She's cut good promos before.
Yeah.
She's been around for a while. It's not like she's brand new and has never spoke on the mic, never cut a good promo.
Right.
She's had really good segments. I don't know.
She's also been a really crazy heel before.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, but for some reason, since her return, and I know she was out for like a year at least with injury. Since her return after the Royal Rumble, I think she's a bit taken aback by her reception.
Yeah. I think the fans kind of falling out of love with her.
And she's just like I think she's taking it personally a little bit.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I think you're nailing that. You know what I mean? On top of everything else, like so, and I mean, I gotta feel bad too because we always revert back to Rick some way, somehow. It's always back on Rick when they really need to dig at her. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this again.
That's low hanging fruit.
Yeah. So if they can move past that, that'd be nice too. But let's move on, boys. Question number 4. I know you guys seen the Braun Breaker spear. Holy fuck.
Dude, I saw multiple angles.
Me too. Like I saw people's videos from out in the crowd. Man, that dude, he's got too much speed for his brain. Like you know what I mean? Like he don't know how athletic he is, I don't think. That was such a Steiner move, almost breaking your neck doing that, right?
Yeah, on the ramp, not like in the ring where there's a little bit more padding. I know the ring's still extremely tough, but out there on the ramp, just full speed. It's a wonder the people taking them don't like actually get hurt. Like that just shows like how professional they all are. Because man, they
Yes.
look just brutal.
Yeah,
Man.
I watched, like I said, I watched this multiple angles, several. I probably seen this thing like 20 times since it happened, but
Right.
there was one time I was watching it and I paused it. Braun is vertical.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He jumped from so far back, man. Like,
Yeah,
Poor Carl. Did you see the tweet from Carlito?
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Yeah. No, that was great, man. I love how he sold it like that. So, man.
No, like okay, the spear is Roman's finish. So like take Roman out of it.
Right.
Nobody else besides Roman and Braun should be doing the spear. Roman just
Agreed.
kind of gets grandfathered in. But if Braun's
Right.
doing it like that, I don't need it as some quick transition done
The
very
Superman
poorly.
punch.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
leave it for them. That's
Yeah.
little-
After Roman
little-
retires, Braun's the only
Yeah,
one
it's
that can
just
do
Braun.
that
It's just
until
Braun.
until
Yeah.
he's done.
You ever
right?
see the
Yeah.
thing about from Rhino that said he said that no one's ever kicked out of his finish? He said they said what? But there's
Gore.
plenty of time if people kicked out of it. He goes, no, whenever they kicked out, that's when I did the spear. Where he's like, well, but whenever they don't kick out, that's when I did the gore.
I love that.
Clever. Oh yeah, I love it. That's a good wrestling move there.
I will say that, you know, as much as I probably shit on Goldberg in the past couple of years, he in the '90s, he was the guy,
Mm.
and his spear, Braun's spear, is probably the most vicious and impactful since Goldberg's spear. Because I always
Yeah.
felt like Goldberg
Yeah.
freaking split somebody
Yeah.
in half.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. I was trying to think too, like who was doing the spear back then too when
Just Edge and
Goldberg
Goldberg.
kind of made it
Edge,
his
Goldberg,
own.
Rhino.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Yeah.
Monty was
It's crazy, man.
the fucking alpha male, Monty Brown doing
the pounce.
the pounce.
The pounds,
Yeah.
yeah. God, I love that move. Yeah, they need to bring that back. But let me tell you though, this is what I think. One last before we go here. You remember in WrestleMania, Kane used to have the spot where he would tombstone somebody. Like he would always
Yeah.
tombstone somebody.
Yeah,
I think
he
we're going
was,
to transition to Braun spearing somebody like that. Like I think it's gonna be his thing. He's gonna get creative every year. He's gonna jump off a fucking truck and
And just show up
going
out of
down
nowhere.
the road and spear somebody. Yeah, right. Yeah, he's gonna like
See what
come down
celebrity he
Shawn
murders
Michaels
this year.
style. Yeah, like on a zip
Yeah.
line, and
Yeah,
spear somebody
Yeah.
off. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's electric looking, man. Like when he did it, I was like, oh my god! It instantly made you want to rewind it and watch it
Yeah.
again over and
Yeah.
over.
His speed is insane.
Such
Yeah.
a Steiner move, almost breaking his neck like that, though. Like I'm like, that's so great, man. And I'm a fan. I watched his dad, dude. Like
I was
I
gonna
grew
say,
up watching his
I
dad. in
bet
the
his
Varsity
dad
Club.
and uncle mark out so much.
Oh
ways to
man,
you.
I know. I love Rick, man. Dogface Gremlin, hell yeah. Like
apparently, I don't know his name, but apparently Scott's son is like going to the PC
Yeah.
or is on one of like the like NIL deals with WWE or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
nice.
think I saw
Before
something
too
like
long,
that
there
too.
might be another Steiner coming up.
sweet.
It's funny because I just watched the Becoming a Spectacle documentary about WrestleMania 9, where the
Yeah.
Steiners were there at the Caesar's Palace.
All right, boys. Episode. God, about to do that again. All right, a little small rusty. All right, here we go.
Episode
Topic number
154.
5 in the hot start, boys. Before we go home, we got to talk about AEW Dynasty, man. So
Dynasty.
B-level pay-per-view right off the bat. Tony Khan, suck my cock for like I'm getting committed to trying to watch your pay-per-views, dude. And and you want to make a B-level pay-per-view like 5 hours long. It wasn't 5, it was definitely 4.
Jesus.
Like, man, like it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
For a B-level pay-per-view on a Sunday night, I
Yeah.
give you a pass doing it on a Saturday because I'll stay up,
Exactly.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
man, come on, man. We gotta do better on this. But decent, not great show, but decent. I guess a lot of things happen, move a lot of storylines. So Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, there was that like I didn't even really like even notice this place where I didn't even heard of it before. Like it was like the Laryngitis Center, but it was called something else, like the Lacacia Center or something. I don't know. I can't remember, but I'm liking their new setups in these, not so huge venues, and stuff. So yeah, I'm digging that. Will Ospreay, obviously, he's getting the
Incredible.
belt in July 12th, at All In Texas, but he's been like the hot start. Lead off on every show. Him and Kevin Knight was, an awesome match. Yeah. Then like you can tell that's where we're going. You know what I mean? Like he's pointing at the sign, All In, that kind of stuff. But I'm loving Ospreay, obviously, still. I just feel like after he gets done chasing, then what are we gonna do? Right? Are we just he's probably just gonna have to have badass matches because I don't think like a long title reign is gonna make any sense. Like you don't need it, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, but probably just bring some clout to it. Well, I mean, if he was a champ, I guess at least we would see the belt.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Was at least, and we'll get into the main event in a little bit, but at least if Ospreay's the champ, you got an Ospreay match in the main event on every pay-per-view. Instead of what we've been getting in the main event on every pay-per-view. And that would be a welcome change.
Right. I just want to say, Dylan, Nathan Davis on Facebook. Thanks for watching, bro. He's asking, where's the green hat guy? Did you not wear the green hat this weekend? Everybody was asking questions like,
okay,
so
we'll do a little plug here.
Okay.
Got the new Shazza McKenzie Heartbreak Core hat.
Bazinga.
I still have the Dylan. Still had the Dylan on last night.
Yeah.
Got to support the new guys. But when you ask people to make a hat, you can't just not buy it and not wear it. You kind of got to put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
So showing Shazza some love. Wearing the green shirt tonight. I didn't want to double up on the green. Don't want to have a whole lot of green. I didn't know what Eric was wearing either. So we would have almost been all green had I showed up in that. So yeah,
right.
I was gonna say I missed that memo.
Yeah.
tpublic.com. tpublic.com. Go get you a sit down Marks t-shirt / sit down.
And there you go.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, hot opener. Next up, we're working towards MJF getting in the Hurt Syndicate. He helped them beat Big Bill and Brian Keith. By the way, shout out to CJ Esparza and 12 Gauge, who was on Dynamite the other night. They took was a squash match from Big Bill. So shout out to them. And I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but Jim Cornette also talked about them on his podcast.
Oh no.
Yeah, and he called them Tits and Taint McGee. So I sent that to 12 Gauge and he was laughing. It was pretty funny. But yeah, so that kind of helped. And then Mercedes beat Julia Hart in the opening round of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, which is going to be 8 women. Winner gets AEW title shot at All In. So at least they're putting a little steam on the women's division there to on the matches right now. So I'm all about some tournaments as long as they don't last too long. You know what I mean? Then you get kind of fit loose and not understanding who's what and where and all that kind of stuff. But and then Death Riders, right, versus FTR Trios Championship. Basically the big storyline on this one was FTR turned heel on Edge, right? They did like a spike pile driver off the top rope on Copeland and like some chair shots and that kind of stuff. So FTR heels, man.
Kind of teased that Cash might turn on Dax for a little bit, or at least not side with him. And, then did the big, both of them turn on Edge or Cope, excuse me, on
Copenhagen.
That was good. FTR needed a refresh. The tag scene kind of needs a refresh. So.
Edge
like
can't have assholes for a little while.
Edge can't have a group not turn on him to save his life.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
And FTR can be assholes for a little while.
Cope,
so
sorry.
That'd be cool too. So, and then cool to see here too. Megan Bain, fresh off the independent scene on a AEW pay-per-view. She lost to Toni Storm for the title. Toni won on like a sneaky little roll up. But what I loved about this was Toni wearing the Rocky inspired
good.
gear. Yeah. And she had what's his name come out with her dressed like Mickey, so that was a nice touch in Philadelphia. I like Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe. Way too long match. This was one of the ones that didn't need to go this long, but that's what it was. But and Kyle does that like brainbuster on the turnbuckle.
Yeah,
I hate that move, man. That's scary as shit, man. I just don't like it. It just doesn't add any kind of like impact other than but it's just me. Whatever.
no, for me, this match, I didn't know why it was even on the pay-per-view. I was like,
Yeah.
we're running so long. Why do we need this? But then it was so good, I immediately shut up about this match and just complained about the other matches because that's show stealer blew me away. I was surprised knowing they can both go, but just on the spot, on the card and everything. I was like, oh wow, okay, we're going for it here. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, and Fletcher too, man. That dude's in shape. He's kind of like Chad Gable shape right now. Yeah. Title versus Mask, Jericho versus Bandito. Bandito ended up winning here. It was like a restart. I don't know, man. Like I'm having a hard time paying attention to Jericho, man. I am, but it's just, I feel bad, so I'm like, I feel bad, like not wanting to watch Jericho, but
the finish to this one where they had Jericho use the bat and get the win, or it looked like he was going to get the win, just to have Bandito's family pull Aubrey to the side and point out the bat and say, oh no, he hit him with the bat to restart the match. I hated all of that. Like, we don't use replay in pro wrestling. We don't have people crossing the barricade to tell the ref, oh no, this guy cheated. Either reverse the decision. Just
right
where it was at. Yeah. And that late into the night, I wasn't feeling it anyway. And it just was a complete dud to me in that one. And I love Bandito, so I hate to say that, but that did nothing for me at all.
Yep. And something that I was glad to see happen next, finally getting the belts in AEW, beating Daniel Garcia. It was our good old pal, Adam Cole. By the way, those who don't know, that was a live Adam Cole, baby, from Evolve.
Yeah, DB's live. He was there.
Yeah, back in like whenever they were. I went to a show in Indianapolis, so that's straight from the cell phone. Hell yeah. So I was glad to see that. I don't know, Daniel Garcia, probably another guy I'd like to see do something else with, but so they got what are they, the Paragon now? Adam Cole, Riley, and Roderick.
And,
is that the new name? Yeah, the Paragon.
It was something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the new name. I don't know. It's something like that, but and then and they said that is undisputed. So obviously threw that in there. So all right, so I want to know your opinion on this one, Dylan, especially the international title champion Omega versus Speedball versus Ricochet. Good match. I dialed it back a little bit on Speedball. I'm just not a Speedball fan, especially not on the mic, but I'm not a big fan. But like, this match did good. I liked it all right, but here we go. Co-main event, and I'm like, 20 minutes too long.
Yeah. At this point, if you counted the pre-show, we're at like 4.5, 5 hours into the night, something like that. So it was a good, fast-paced, like get your attention back. I think it was good for Speedball, that being his first big-time introduction, not just on the TV but on the pay-per-view match. And I mean, all three of them are just stupidly talented. You can't take away from that. I thought it was good. It was just a high-tempo spot fest, which is exactly what you expected it to be. But it was good. There was a bunch of people really loved it on the internet, and maybe I was just way too tired by that point.
Yeah, I probably
coming off the road and watching it and being that late in the night. But I thought it was really good, but not a match of the year contender or some special match we're going to talk about for years to come or nothing like that.
Right. I mean, I might would like it better if I went back and watch it, but so your main event, Mox versus Swerve for the title that we still haven't seen. Mox retained, obviously, but towards the end of the match, man, after the Death Riders, the Ops, Hangman interfered. lights go out. This is, kind of where we're at. Come back on, and the Young Bucks have Swerve stretched out, and they're about to give him, I think it's the elite trigger or something like that. Just 2 knees to the face, basically, and then it goes off with us thinking, are the Bucks with the Death Riders, that kind of stuff. So, since then, it's like they're negotiating with each other, kind of now. But I'm like, motherfucker, like, I don't know. Maybe I expected something a little bigger, but when I seen the Bucks, I'm like, all right, here we go. Like, just jump in and turn, and then I'm in. I'm like, all right, I'm glad I stayed up for this. This was cool. This was big. They're going to be assholes again. You know what I mean? So, but
I saw the Bucks. All I thought about was Michael.
Big Bucks guy he is. So, yeah, but overall, the smelly market, 1 out of 10, 10 being the best. Like I liked it, but just the length, man. Like it's probably a 7 at best. With the length, I'm gonna penalize it. It's like a 6 to me now. Adam Cole, that's it.
I was actually leaning towards a 6. It just felt like less than a normal AEW pay-per-view. A week ago I was getting off the road just before the pay-per-view also, so maybe I was just not in the right mindset to be watching a wrestling pay-per-view up until 11 p.m. on a Sunday night.
Right.
But it, normally AEW pay-per-view, there's 3 or 4 matches you come out of and you're like, man, that's like match of the year contender. That was awesome. Mm-hmm. This one for me, it was really just the Ospreay match, and everything else was at best really good. Nothing like super great. Yeah. So I'd go 6 on this one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that is one thing that I think WWE has done correctly, and that is moving their live events to Saturday.
Yeah.
At least not the 2-day ones, the single day ones, like on Saturday. Like WrestleMania, I understand. But like you say, Money in the Bank on a Saturday night, that's awesome.
Perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for the hot start. 5 topics in pro wrestling. We'll bring it back next week when we come back with our post WrestleMania show. For now, it's time to move on to our dropkick discussion of the week. And today, it's going to be all about WrestleMania. We're going to be running over each match real quickly and talk about them. But first, how about a word from our friend Miko Maestro?
It's Mikko Maestro, the Finland's finest, and you're listening to the #1 podcast, Sit Down Marks. Ja tässä mä sanon, teidän kaikkien kannattaa kuunnella, olet sitten Suomesta tai Yhdysvalloista, koska tätä kaikki tulevat kertomaan kadulta toiselle, kaupungista toiseen.
Shout out to Miko Maestro, Finland's finest. Yeah, well, I mean, I did. I got it. I don't know what I want to do with it, but but he told me that he's telling his people that it's the best podcast to listen to of professional wrestling, and that we're funny and that kind of stuff. So he's like, he goes, the Finnish people will love it. So I'm in. Shout out to Germany too for still cranking out podcasts and downloads. So thank you so much
out Germany, all the countries.
Yeah, still supporting us. We appreciate it. So all right, so it's Mania weekend, boys, coming up 2 nights, as we have gotten used to now. Las Vegas. What's that place called? Allegiant Center. Whatever that place there.
Something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
We do have, but I don't mean to hold you up here, but we do have 2 downloads from Finland.
Okay.
Oh, let's go.
Nice.
Let's go.
Nice. It's got to be like Miko's family, right?
Thank you, Miko.
Maybe? Yeah. Shout out, man, for real. So, yeah, 2 nights of Mania, man. I have a list here of what I think will, or what they put out, I think will probably stand as night 1 and night 2 for the schedule. So let's jump into it, boys. Let's, interest, or, we'll move on for them. So we'll start real light as we got for night 1. I'll just go by the list so I don't miss any. Jey Uso versus Gunther. Is this going to be the big crowning of Jey finally? Are they going to go through this big whole storyline and Gunther just going to stomp Jey's ass too? Joe says he's finally not scared of him. What do you guys think about this?
It's probably the opener, right?
Well, according to the list they put out today, they got it listed as a night one opener. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean,
You got to start hot, right?
As much as, damn it, I was conflicted with this one because it's the interest for me has been there. It hasn't been there. It's coming on.
All the baby faces can't win, right?
The promo that Jay put on Gunther this past week, asking him if his mama calls him or whatever he said. I thought that was kind of dumb, but no, and I also like Jay's I don't know, his interpretation of coming out to a serious promo was just him putting on a black shirt, a black crop top. Anyway,
Right.
Sorry, I digress. This particular match, I want Gunther to lose.
Sure.
I'm starting to think he's not going to.
Right. Like I said, not all baby faces can win, man. Some heels got to stay up.
Yeah.
So,
Man, if they give Jay the Royal Rumble, have the big whole celebration about main event Jey Uso,
sure.
and then don't give him the main event,
Right.
and then don't even give him the win, like
right.
What
a waste.
But they gave Cody the Rumble,
away.
Right? They gave him the Mania main event, and he lost.
Yeah.
It could be bigger next year, maybe.
I don't know. Cody, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about
right.
main event Jey Uso because it's already 50-50, 60-40 on if people are for it or not. So if you try spreading this out another year, I don't know if it makes it.
Yeah.
I am excited for it though. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah.
I liked the bloody beatdown on Raw a couple weeks ago. Thought
Yeah.
that was really good.
Yeah, that was good heat.
And,
It was good stuff. Yeah.
At least on Jay's serious promo this week, at least he did stop the fans from eating. It wasn't like a
right.
sharp
hands down,
eating,
right.
between every time. So it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this is night one opener, I'm gonna go with Jay. What do you guys got?
I think so. I'll go Jay.
Hey, Mo, where are you gonna lean?
Well, I want Jay to win.
Sure.
You know what?
I don't. I'd like to see Gunther win.
I think
like
Gunther should have lost like 6 months ago. But let's go ahead and okay, that's a whole nother thing I could go on a rant about freaking long champions right now in WWE. But anyway, yes, I also choose Jay.
All right, next up, boys, let's talk about the attack on the parking lot revenge match. Naomi versus Jade Cargill. If you're watching right now on YouTube and Facebook, thank you. Got the graphic pulled up on screen. Is there any interest in all for you? I mean, I think this, Jade's got to go up here to look good. I think Naomi's turning heel. She can lose and still be just fine. But yeah, I just think Naomi's got this one.
Jade.
I mean, Jade. I'm sorry, Jade's got this one. What's that?
No, I personally, first of all, I love Naomi's heel gimmick right now. Like this, you proceed with caution, Jade, because I want Naomi to win this. I want Naomi to just end Jade's WrestleMania hopes and dreams, and I want Naomi to keep this heel gimmick going and make her look stronger.
Right.
Yeah, this is probably the match I'm least excited for, to be honest. You had the whole tag team with Bianca and Jade for 8 months, whatever it was, and then the turn is with Naomi, not Bianca, and now Bianca's not even in the story. She's in a different triple threat instead of involved with these two, and having Jade come back and just destroy Naomi twice without Naomi getting anything in kind of just killed it for me right at the start. But it'll probably be fine. The entrances will be really good. They'll make Jade look like a superhero, but I'm not overly interested in this one.
Right. Shout out to Nick Bull, by the way, one of the hosts of the Card Subject Change podcast. He said he's a Gunther dude and he's dreading this match. Don't feel like Jay is World Championship material. I agree. I've always felt like he's mid card Jay, not or mid event, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on there too, but I like Gunther. I'm a Gunther guy too, so maybe that's part of it too. But what do you think, Primo? Make a pick here, man. You got Jade or
Naomi.
You going Naomi? Nice. I like it.
Unfortunately, they're gonna probably Jade's probably gonna freaking go over.
Yeah.
But I do want Naomi to win.
This next match might be the one I am least interested in. War Raiders, New Day. I think they should replace this with like a tag team elimination match, but the Guns in it, the Street Profits, Ciampa, Gargano. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing here for me.
No,
I didn't realize this was even announced for Mania, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same. Just yeah.
Right.
I'm in the New Day club of just put the belts on them for no reason at all because I'm a New Day fan. But that's about it.
Right. Next
I'm
up,
biased, blind and biased, guys.
Yeah. Not much interest here for me at all in this one. So, next up, boys, we talk about it. It should be mask versus mask to put more interest on this one. You're lined up right now, slated for night one.
You have the greatest luchador of all time,
right?
And then you have facing off against Rey Mysterio. So, I mean, Rey she considers herself lucky to be in there with El Grande Americano. Like I told you guys earlier, El Grande Americano, throwback from way back in the day with Blue Demon and Mil Mascaras. So,
right.
I mean, El Grande America for being that old, he looks phenomenal. Even Rey aged. So I don't. I this should be fun.
Yeah, like I said, this might be a comedy spot match for us. For this night. If this is the way they're going to go, we've had a little bit, so it'd be a nice little mid card spot here. And I'm going to go with Americano. I think they're just going to keep it going, and do something stupid, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So, I mean, they're having this match because they headbutted each other.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, right? Like, they headbutted each other on, when there was like, who was he wrestling? One of the LWO guys or something like that. You know what I mean? So, but whatever. Chad's on Mania.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like getting Rey Mysterio still getting Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. That's still pretty cool. Guy has been around my whole life, basically.
Yeah.
And this, like you said, DB, maybe a comedy spot. I could see this being a celebrity spot. Somebody else pops up in a mask, and then they take it off, and it's George Kittle or whoever plays for the Raiders now or whatever. I'll take Rey to win. Max Crosby, definitely. I could see that happening. It'll be fun. Like I said, the angle part. Yeah. It'll be fun. I got Rey winning. It'll be fun.
Oh yeah, I got Rey winning as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Grande, man, but just I don't know. I just think it'd be funny. But I would like to see the mask come off. I think that'd be a funny spot. But
I want to see El Grande Americano versus Mr. America.
Yeah. Right.
Oh God. Don't put that into the universe.
Yeah. All right. Next up, boys. I think it's time to give Fatu probably some gold here, man. I think this is probably
the other day.
I feel like this is probably one of the shortest matches. I'm most confident about throughout the weekend. Like LA got this belt back because they're getting into Fatu here.
Yeah. Yeah, quickly went from Shinsuke back to LA Knight just so LA can lose it to Solo. But I'm kind of for it also. Like, I'm not really hating on it. I could see Solo main eventing next year's WrestleMania if they don't drop the ball. So giving him, not Solo, I'm sorry, Fatu. Putting the belt on Fatu, I like that. Get him hot, get him a title, get him going. I like it.
Yeah. So I've been talking to people about this match out there in Markland, and I've heard two different takes on this. Well, three really. One, the obvious one, Jacob Fatu just beats the hell out of LA Knight and wins.
Yeah.
That's one. Number two is Solo turns on him and costs him the title. And number three, Jacob Fatu wins the belt, but then causes further dissension within the new whatever bloodline they're a part of now.
Right. Yeah. Whatever they're called.
But either way, I choose Jacob for this match.
Yeah. I think it's foregone conclusion here. So, Next up, what is slated to be
Yeah.
the co-main event? Yeah, for night one, right as of now, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte. We talked about this match earlier. Just kind of talked about Charlotte, earlier. I think Tiffany has to win here. I just don't see what would make sense for Charlotte to win here other than to just kill Tiffany's run and just bury her again. And then it kind of adds to, like, I think they're going to go out, they're going to have a fucking badass match. Charlotte's going to make Tiffany look awesome. They're going to bury the hatchet. Everything's going to be good, and then, but that's what I think. But I think Tiffany's winning.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on this one as far as who comes out on top. Because it's Charlotte, so you can never roll out a win. Giving her the title, making her this top heel, I could definitely see them doing that. But I could also see this being a huge win for Tiffany Stratton. I probably will pick Tiffany. We'll go with that.
Right.
But I'm not uber confident in that. I do think, like I said earlier, I do think this will be a really good match.
Right.
I agree that Tiffany should be the one to retain here, because number one, if she doesn't, that makes Charlotte a 15-time champion.
Right. Can you have like a moonsault battle? Can they have like a moonsault off? You know what I mean?
Moonsault.
Yeah, moonsault. There you go. Yeah, let's coin that phrase. Let's trademark that. The moonsault. Where they just. Yeah, that's what I want.
No, I mean, it'd be pretty fun. Just tell Charlotte to leave her, poopy drawers at home.
G3.
Yeah. But I have all the respect for Charlotte. But no,
Sure.
I still think Tiffany is going to go over here and just make either in the feud or make the feud. Maybe someone interferes on behalf of Tiffany, but whatever. I think Tiffany wins.
Right. Oh, Dylan, yeah, you already said Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany. Yeah,
oh, my bad.
Yeah.
All right, so night one, main event. We know this one's the main event because it's a big part of the storyline, man. Like, they are really running this one, down because, CM Punk, they say, he's never main event at WrestleMania. Roman's like, well, you needed me to bring you here.
Roman's like, it's another Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. What's he main evented? Like, feels like 13 of them now or something.
Right.
Like,
something like that. Legitimately.
Yeah, like that's
that.
close to the number. Yeah. But I mean, shit, dude. Like, I mean, this match is big. So many things can happen here. Paul Heyman is the center of all of these three. Right now. He's a 9. Okay, cool. Man, do I love a match like this that can go so many thousands of ways, and Paul being like the X factor in all of it. Man, I like this more than I like the Cena angle. I'll be honest. Right now, this has got me more interested.
This one is the story.
Yeah.
This one is the one where we're all invested. Mm-hmm. And this is the one where we're all like, we genuinely don't know what is going to happen. Like, we all can say whatever we want. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we need not the three of us. We aren't WWE writers, so we aren't 100% sure of what could happen versus like some of these other matches. But in this one, any one of these guys can come out on top.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with everything both of you said, but I have like the smallest nitpick. This seems like such the like just gift wrapped main event for CM Punk to main event WrestleMania. It's like, hey, we know this has been your whole big story, and we're probably not going to give you a title match ever, but we're going to go ahead and just give you this main event on night one, non-title, triple threat, just so you can knock that off your bucket list. Be like, hey, you finally got your main event. It's not like he won the Rumble and is challenging for the title on night 2 or nothing like that. It's like, hey, we're going to give you your main event. And we'll just end this whole I've never main evented WrestleMania part.
Yeah.
But like I said, I do agree with everything you guys have said. I have no idea how this one is going to play out.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman's like, a top 3 performer in wrestling history, and he might not be number 2 or 3. and he's still on top of his game.
Right.
Roman's been on top. Punk's been awesome. Rollins has been awesome. All the the different storylines coming in.
Yeah.
It's been great.
On Monday, whenever Seth almost curb stomped Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Number one, Seth looks like $1 million. He looks straight.
Yeah.
But also, when he bent over, he goes, "Now you owe me a favor."
Yeah. So
is that really how favors work?
Right. You don't attack someone.
Like,
I'm not going to insult you.
It's like, hey, you owe me now. Like,
I'm not going to beat you up, so you owe me.
You owe me. Yeah.
Because I didn't curb stomp you. You owe me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many ways this could go right. And Paul is obviously intertwined with Roman. He's intertwined with Paul. They're dropping these storylines, making us think that he might be intertwined with Seth. and there might be a turn, might be a double turn, Paul might go with Seth and blow us all out, but I mean, if you've been watching, there's tons of ways this can go. There's the favor with Punk, and technically Punk's going to have Heyman in his corner, right? So so that's going to be interesting right there, because he's not, we all think he's not fully committed. So I don't know, man. Like there's so many ways like this thing can go. I feel like in the end, if you're looking at these three, the biggest story is Roman and Seth, right?
Oh yeah,
like and it's always going to be about people. Like Roman's beef is Seth wasn't loyal to him. Now his right-hand man, wise man, is not being loyal to him. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's going to be the story. I think Seth wins this match, and
I love that
somehow. And that's the story we go to SummerSlam. It's, we're touching on that somehow, whether Paul ends up with whoever or however this thing plays out. But I think that's the biggest story if we're looking at storyline, because that's what it's come down to. Roman still hates Seth. Like that's intertwined. It's got deep threads, and I just think that's going to be the end story. Punk's going to be big time involved, but
it is my favorite story in wrestling, for the last 10 years, that no matter where these two are, as soon as they step in the same ring, they fight like brothers, and they just automatically feel on the same level playing field.
Yeah.
And it's, I love the unit, because those of us that, those of us that remember Peak Shield days and all that, and just, it's such a good story.
Right.
And all the way up to now, where their careers are so parallel and stuff like that, and and then it's just like now. I mean, CM Punk gets his main event, but he's like, and if you look at this picture, he's like the third wheel.
Right. Yeah.
So he gets to have Paul Heyman walk out with him, but okay, Paul Heyman's going to be in a suit on the outside of the ring, which he would be doing for Roman anyway. So I don't know really what kind of factor that comes into play there, but I agree with DB. It would make my night if Seth Rollins wins this.
Yeah, like Seth probably needs it the most out of any of them. Like Roman definitely doesn't need it. Seth, DB got me fired up. If Seth was the first one to turn on Roman, got Roman's wise man to now turn on Roman and side with him, that is just great storytelling there.
Roman's got it's like a loyalty issue, man. I really think that's what they're driving home.
Roman could blame Punk for being the one to even get Heyman out of Roman's corner in the first place, to
that's
even
the
get
gospel,
that
man.
thrown up there. Man, I'm because I still don't know about it just being Punk's main event, but the actual match itself, I am fired up for, and I'll just make it a clean sweep here. I'll go with Seth also.
Right. I'm gonna sit down and watch this match, and I'm gonna go fucking wow me. Like give me something. Like I'm gonna give me goosebumps to that y'all are gonna have to top on night 2. But hell yeah, I think we're gonna be seeing that. And like I feel like, I don't know if you guys, but like this revolutionary, I feel like we're getting to the end of that. I think I think Seth's coming to a character change here soon, and that's why I kind of think Paul might have something to do with that.
I mean, I've said this before. He is my favorite modern day, like my favorite wrestler of the modern era.
Sure.
And regardless of how he's dressed, but I will say here lately, since the European tour, he's been dressed semi-normal. They were bell-bottom jeans on Monday, but they were still jeans.
Yeah. All right, let's move on, boys. Night 2, Bailey and Lyra Valkyria versus Liv Morgan and Raquel, set to be the opener. I don't have any interest in
I wish
this.
I cared more about this, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't. But Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. I think Drew needs to go over big here. You know what I mean? If the push is coming for him, maybe not big, but maybe he just needs to go over. You know,
I mean, I agree with you. I do agree with you. I would just give an aside because I thought about this earlier today. You know, we were so hyped for Damian Priest to get that championship, and then ever since he won the World Heavyweight Championship, it's just since then, like it fell flat, and I don't know if it was him as the champion or what. And then just since then, he hasn't been around much. But yeah, man, I was just thinking about that earlier today. Like we were so hyped about his rise. Right. And then now it's just like whatever. Like he's just a brawling dude on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I think Drew could take the loss better than Priest. If Priest wins, Drew can show up on SmackDown and talk his way out of it. Yeah. And but here again, I think it'd be a good match. Like we've seen him work before. It'd be a good match. I'm excited for it.
Be hard hitting.
I could also see this one kind of falling into the category of like, how many heels do we have winning on the rest of the card, and how many faces do we have winning on the rest of the card? Do we need to even that up somewhere here? But I'll officially, quote unquote, take Priest to get the win.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting to. Was we haven't seen Damian Priest do something in so long. Was maybe this could be kind of part of that, and that's for that reason I'm choosing Priest as well.
Okay. Next up, the big 4-way for the Intercontinental title: Braun Breaker, the champ, versus Dominic, versus Finn Balor, versus Penta. Give me Dominic here, man. Yeah, like you know, what I mean? Like give me Dominic. Yeah. Like
it's time.
It's what I want, right? Yeah. I was wondering if y'all are with me or not. You are. I like it.
Yeah.
Man, I love Dom.
Right. Imagine Dom walking out with the IC belt.
The most smug motherfucker out there. Yeah.
Yes. Pissing people off on the way out, man. It'd be fantastic, you know?
Yeah,
it'd be great.
I could see like Finn and Dom canceling each other out and having the Judgment Day be their own storyline.
Sure.
Moving forward, and like Penta getting the win. I would love that. I would not complain. But I'm hoping it's just what you talked about. I don't know. You could talk me into it being too soon, but you could also talk me into it being this guy that was just on ESPN and everybody loves, and let's just put the title on him.
I think Sheamus won the title within 6 months.
Yeah. But I'm rooting for Dom. I hope we're all right about Dom. But I wouldn't be shocked.
Santino won it his first night.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The IC belt, you know, like, I mean, it's supposed to be next up, but it can be used sometimes to like quickly.
Either way, we all agree Braun is definitely losing.
yeah, I think so too, but probably not taking the pin, I'm thinking.
Yeah, he will hit some spear like we talked about earlier. Yeah. He'll hit, maybe it's Carlito or whoever it is. He's going to hit some spear that's just out of this world.
Yeah, it's going to be the new RKO. It's the new Kofi Kingston Rumble spot, like, you know, so
he's a big bruiser, and then you got these two luchadors. Well, you got Penta, and then you got Dom and Finn. So it's just like the three athletic dudes, and then one. Well, he's super athletic, but he's just a different style.
A different fun to watch. Kind of athletic,
yeah. Yep. And then next up was AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Stylistically, I'll watch this. You know, I kind of want to see. AJ's going to hang with the young boy here, but I feel like this is a Logan Paul win.
Yeah,
he needs something substantial, right?
Yeah, it'll be AJ Styles doesn't have a bad match, and honestly, Logan Paul really doesn't have a bad match, at least very often.
Right.
But it'll be good. I'm excited for the match, which, several years ago, if you told me AJ Styles and Logan Paul at WrestleMania, I would be like, what? No, I don't want that. Why are we doing that?
Right.
But it'll be good. I agree. I think Paul gets the win, but oh well, it'll still be fun.
Yeah. So
You don't want to have to pick him, but
and the thing is, I don't have anything against Logan Paul, but I was just thinking. I was actually trying to Google it over here. See how many losses he's had. Logan Paul. That is.
it doesn't feel like he's lost much.
Yeah,
No,
not
not
many.
big matches anyway. He lost against Roman. Anyway, I think Logan does go over, but AJ is going to make him look like $1 million.
1,000%.
Yeah, for sure. All right, co-main for night number 2 for the women's title, Io, the champ, versus Rhea, former champ, versus Bianca. I'm interested to see which way you guys are going to go here. I'm thinking too, if this is the co-main, I think probably I'm gonna go. They're probably gonna put the belt back on Rhea, and run, but because Io retained would kind of be but it would elevate her big time. You know what I mean? Like, as kind of being maybe one of the top ones. Maybe they're, Bianca, I guess, would kind of make sense too, but I'm gonna just pick Rhea for this one, just for, but I don't know. I'm super excited, but I'm open to, hoping it's a good match.
I'm going to go with Io just because they just put the title on her and they've kind of had her as like the third person in the match, even though she's the champ.
Mm-hmm.
So if they go a different direction, it's kind of like, what was the point of putting the title on Io? Was she just the third person that shouldn't have been taken seriously?
I guess they could go forward with Rhea and Bianca too, man.
Yeah, but I was about to say Rhea and Bianca are like two of their big stars. So if they put the title on one of them, maybe had one of them pin the other one of them and keep Io out of the finish.
Sure.
Maybe that's what you do with WrestleMania. I don't know. It's here again. I keep saying it. It'll probably be a good match. The build's kind of been all over the place,
right?
But it'll be a crazy match. The entrances in this match is going to be ridiculous at WrestleMania. I'm going to go with the champ.
Yeah.
Guess I'll complete the hat trick, and I'm going to go with Bianca.
Okay. Nice.
Perfect.
That's fair. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Main event, boys. Night number 2. After the big turn, it's time now to see if Cena's going to break Ric Flair's alleged number 17 time be champ, or and then here's another match too that can have something screwy, because The Rock is not in the exact same position as Paul Heyman, but he could be involved here in some sort of something like, a double turn kind of could work here too. Like, I've thought about that, along the way. Cena go back, and Cody turn heel. I don't know, but I mean, I feel like the buzz has cooled off a little bit. I'm not as excited because I'm more excited about the night 1 main event, but I'm just curious to see what angle they go. Like, if Cena just wins outright, I'll kind of be like, like, I feel like there's going to be a little twisty turn here, but I'm going to say, I think something weird happens. Cody keeps the belt. Cena wins it somewhere else down the line, Backlash or whatever down the road, SummerSlam maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. Like that Cena should turn heel, face Cody, win the belts. Like it doesn't that seems too simple to me, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm probably overthinking it way, but I'm gonna stay with Cody, man. Double turn.
Coming out of the chamber, I thought I would be at a 10 for this, and I'm still very high on it, but I'm at like a 7 or 8. Like, I'm still really excited, but not where I was coming out of chamber when it looked like we were going to have Cena like with The Rock in the build-up. Rock hasn't been back on TV since. I think Cena still wins. There would probably be a bunch of outside interference if I had to guess. Maybe The Rock, maybe Travis Scott for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Cena wins. breaks the record, and I think Ric Flair just does something stupid way out there to try to get some attention back on himself, whether it's an interview or a video he posts or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to be able to just sit to the side and not let anything happen. It's a shame I think he's still contracted to AEW, because having Ric Flair for this would be really cool in my opinion. But
Right.
I think Cena wins.
Yeah. So I will say that I've been kind of disappointed with this build. I wanted so much more from it, but the promo battles that they did have in Europe were just kind of like whatever. To me, anyway, I don't know. I'm still excited about it just because it is Cena and Cody for the championship and all the prospect of number 17. But the build-up, I just feel like it should have been so much more momentous. But I don't know. Maybe I'm expecting too much. But I will say, if he's going to be a heel, then he needs to be a freaking heel and get that 17 at WrestleMania and squash Cody.
In a nasty way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Cena like Sheamus squashed Daniel Bryan that one time.
18
in Mania.
seconds.
Yeah. Something like that. Like,
he was kissing on AJ Lee though.
Cody. Yeah, right. I was
Yeah.
Cody hadn't got his his robe off yet or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Clubs.
Pull it
and
over his
That
head
would
like
be
a
wild.
hockey fight.
That would be wild.
That would be
right?
wild.
Like shocker. I'm like, all right. I'm
It's
entertained.
all right. Champ is here, bitches.
Yeah.
And just walks out.
All right. So that's going to do it for WrestleMania 41 preview. Make sure you guys stop back in next week, as we will talk about the aftermath of everything that came on, and obviously talk about how wrong we were. And so, yeah. So, yep. That was time to talk about what we're going to talk about.
That's right.
This week. I did. So, all right, boys. It's time to go home. But before we do, how about a word from SportsWire Radio? Radio.
Looking for all the latest happenings in the world of sports and wrestling? Well, you're in luck, because SportsWire Radio has you covered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year, with great shows in the world of sports, such as the Pinstripe Chronicles, hosted by Uncle Tats, Donald Stewart, and Rob Barrows, New York Baseball Talk with Chris Bazaya and Rob Maraska, the Liftoff Jets, also hosted by Chris Bazaya and Sharman Phillip, Neil Villapiano and the Devil's State of Mind, Randy Dillon's Hockey Fan Chat. In the world of wrestling, SportsWire Radio has you covered with Squared Circle Radio, featuring Chris Belcher, Andy York, and Jared Justice. Those sit-down marks with DB, Primo, AJ, and Michael. A work in progress, featuring the Mayor of Canton, Piles, and Glenn Abbott. You can catch all of these great shows and more anytime, anywhere, and any place via the Listen Live button on SportsWireRadio.org, and you can also catch SportsWire Radio anytime on YouTube at SportsWire Radio 6579 to catch all the latest happenings in the world of wrestling. SportsWire Radio has you covered. It's all sports matters and all wrestling matters here on SportsWire Radio. I am your host, the owner of SportsWire Radio, the #1 global radio station, the owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation, and one of the owners of the Pride Wrestling Federation. Your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce.
Shout out to SportsWire Radio. Not sure, but one of us, or maybe even more, two of us, I don't know, is going to be on Thomas Bryce, his WrestleMania preview show. So make sure you check out all social media for that. So speaking of social media, make sure you follow at Sit Down Marks on all social media, and on DB on the Mic on Instagram. If you got a product or service you would like to get over to our Sit Down Marks audience and community, email dbonthemic@yahoo.com, or message us on any of our social media, and we'll be glad to talk to you about your product or service, and give us a shout. We'd like to talk to you. So, all right. So it was a big weekend this weekend, Dreamwave wise. If you, I know a lot of local people listen to this, so if you listen or if you listen to this, you know that, I work for Dreamwave, and it was a big weekend coming up this weekend. I had a few people in the chat ask about, why I wasn't there this weekend. Well, since the return of Dreamwave in August of 2022, I've worked for Dreamwave, and I haven't missed a show. And unfortunately, this past week, my uncle passed, who was real close. Obviously, he's my father's brother, but also a real close and important part of my dad's life. And so I missed Dreamwave this weekend because his funeral services and everything, all that went on at in North Carolina. So I had to go fly there for the weekend and be with the family. But I'm saying this because I got a lot of messages from people that worked with Dreamwave. I got a lot of messages from, fans that noticed that I wasn't at the show. And, I just want to say thank you for reaching out, especially the ones after they found out what happened. I put a post out on Facebook so everybody kind of know, maybe why I wasn't there this weekend. So I want to thank everybody at Dreamwave. I want to thank Jay Repsol, big supporter of us here at the pod. I got some really nice messages from Jay this weekend. He checked on me. He knew I was going to have a rough weekend. I talked to him. Let's see, I can't think it was maybe Thursday because Friday was Uprising Saturday. So got to talk to him, and and then so got a lot of messages from people. Gage gave me a shout out on the stream the other night, saying that they miss having me around, and just want to say I really appreciate it. It really touched me in a way that you guys don't really realize, and like I've always told Jay this, this is, it's the best job I ever had. And, I really hated, not being there, but, it's going to take something serious like that for me not to be there because I love Dreamwave that much. And so I miss being there, but, you're damn right. I'll be back in June, July, August is going to be big at Dreamwave. So I just wanted to take a second to just say thank you to, everybody listen to this podcast and send me messages and, all that kind of stuff. And, I appreciate you noticing that I wasn't there, maybe, probably on top of everything. Appreciate you guys' messages. I got messages from Tori. Shout out to Tori. I love you. So just thank you guys. So I appreciate it. Y'all helped me get through a tough weekend, so I appreciate it. And it's no reason why the pod was a couple days late, so I just want to say that too. So but shout out to everybody at Dreamwave. You guys really are a nice family, so just want to say that, and I really do appreciate it. So all right, so let's move on, Dylan. Let's talk about Dreamwave this weekend, man. Obviously Uprising 5, man, the 5th installment of the Uprising Women's Athletes division at Dreamwave. I did get to catch the main event to this one, so I'll be able to talk a little bit, about that one by the time I, got to where I needed to be Friday, so I was able to catch that. So another solid card, Dylan, man. Let's talk about it, man. What was the big matches kind of jumped out at you? I will say, we see the old graphic here, Zeta Steel versus Brooke Havoc. Well, Zeta ended up canceling. She couldn't be there for the weekend. I would say she didn't cancel. Right. Something happened. Wasn't able to be on the card Friday or Saturday. So, but otherwise, solid matches. But what you anything on top of the main event? What'd you think?
Yeah, I do want to start at the main event, actually, and then we'll go through the rest of it. But Maggie and Kylie, you guys kind of hyped it up when Jay was on the pod, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it was. Yeah. Talking about how Maggie's like one of the most hated in Dreamwave and Kylie's one of the most loved. And that was on full display in the main event. Crowd fully behind Kylie. Everybody booing Maggie, and they just went out and tore it down. Maggie got the win to retain her title. Earlier in the night, the other title match, RJS, Rebecca defending against Gabby Forza and Erica Demia, I believe I'm saying that right. Yep. And Emily J. And I had high expectations for this, and it still beat my expectations. All three challengers really showed out. Gabby looked really good using her power against all the other ladies. RJS got the win with a submission. Brittany Brooks and Becca opened the show, and that match could have main evented. It was that good. Crowd full. That LaSalle crowd, especially the kids, they just love Brittany. That was a awesome open. Shazza McKenzie versus Missa Kate. That was my pick to steal the show in my preview last week. and if it didn't steal the show, it was right up there with it. They both killed it. Shaza picked up a win. That's 2 straight for her. I was really impressed. This one kind of move over into Saturday as well. But when Zeta was removed, blanking on her name now, Fallon Gray. There we go.
Yeah.
Fallon Gray stepped up and she wrestled Brooke on Friday at Uprising, and then she wrestled Brittany Saturday at Dreamwave. This was the first time I had seen. Yeah. This was the first time I had seen Fallon Gray. Heard a little bit about her, but had never watched her until this weekend. And I was blown away. She's got a good presence about her. She's good in the ring. Just professional, even at the merch stand. Her setup looked real professional.
Awesome.
I hope we have her back. She definitely made an impact on her first weekend. And even the 6-woman tag, it was really good. I really liked the trio of Ashlyn and Nixie and Amina. They were on the losing end to Fallon and Shelly. Not Fallon, I'm sorry. Shelly and Ivy and a girl named Izzy B, I believe was her name, making her debut. And that match was really fun. It was, just another really good card from Uprising.
Yeah. Like I said, all I got to see was the main event so far. And excellent main event. Maggie's, she's a star. I love how she's changed her location of where she's from, is where they hand out TNA, where they give TNA contracts, hailing from where they give TNA contracts. So but that was awesome. Yeah. Big night there. Big night, man. So, next up was Saturday night, Dreamwave X. This was the 10-year anniversary show of Dreamwave. We could have called this Stand Up St. Louis, because man, St. Louis had a big night for this one. Why? Because your new alternative champion is now the Flamingo Cody Lane. Everybody loves Coco, baby. You know what I'm saying? And I was shocked by this. Marcus Mathers has had a stellar run with that alternative title. You know what I mean? So this was big. The new guys retained. And we'll talk about Maggie's match later, but Channing Thomas, big win over Nick Nemeth. He was in town. I heard he couldn't have been nicer while he was there. I hated I didn't get to see him. It was so what stood out to you on Saturday night?
Show opened with that alternative title match you were just mentioning. I'm a big Cody Lane guy from seeing him down here in St. Louis so often.
Right.
So I knew the crowd was going to love him after they saw him, and it was really awesome. I told this to him after the show. When he first came out, a lot of people weren't familiar with him yet. It was his first time at Dreamwave. So there was a bunch of who the heck is this guy? And it didn't take 2 minutes until those same people were like, "Oh my gosh, this guy rules!"
It's awesome, right?
All 4 of them, they just tore it down. Like, the Dreamwave shows are always awesome, and that alternative title, regardless of who's in the match, it always seems to deliver. Always a hot match. I was surprised to see Cody win with it being his debut, but he got it done. I'm excited to see where Marcus goes next, because he's had a title, whether it be the tag title or the alternative title, basically his whole time in Dreamwave. So let's see if he goes for a different title, or if he comes after Coco, or what's going on there.
Right.
And you mentioned the new guys, other St. Louis team here, retained over the hype. Really fun street fight. A lot of weapons involved. Trash cans, a ladder, bowling balls, shoulder pads. It was a really fun match, really good match. Nick Nemeth, Channing Thomas, great match.
It was.
Of course, you got Sidney Bacabella on the outside. He got involved. Shannon got the win. He still got his good as gold case. Still undefeated at Dreamwave. It's just a matter of time before he can sniff in around that title scene. Like I said, Brittany and Fallon Gray, they had a really good match. And then, of course, the 2 title matches on top. Those were both incredible as well.
What's that?
excuse me, sorry, I said of course the 2 title matches on top being
Maggie
and
I'm sorry.
Masha, and then the cage match between Hopkins and Rose. So they both.
Yeah. So let's talk about Maggie and Masha first before we get to the main event. So during this match, which was already these girls, I had a segment with Maggie back in February. Masha interrupted. They, had a set up for this match coming up. So there was already big time heat here. Well, in the middle of this match, Brittany Brooks cashes in her good as gold briefcase while Maggie's kind of reeling during the match and inserts herself. So now it's a 3-way. And Maggie ends up retaining clean with her finish move on, Brittany Brooks. Brittany's failed cash in did not work. I was a little shocked by this here, and I'm interested to see how Brittany bounces back from here. I mean, Maggie won. I'm never going to be surprised by that. You know what I mean? So, solid way for Maggie to kind of make a big statement as champ.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to come on here and say Masha had Maggie beat because I don't want to have to face the wrath of Maggie Lee.
Yeah, Maggie knows
Masha may have had her. Masha was in control when Brittany ran in. Yeah. And Maggie, they went at it. The 3 of them went at it for a little while, and Maggie ended up coming up on top. And, Brittany, since coming back, now she's lost the title match to Maggie. She cashed in on Saturday, lost her cash in. So it's going to be interesting to see how she rebounds and where she goes next.
And then the main event, 2 former guests of the podcast, Connor Hopkins, the champion of Dreamwave, 1 final time in a cage. Christian Rose, final title shot. Connor wins clean with a J Driller. Basically, there was obviously doors, cage match, big tack spot. They did a Styles Clash on Christian did Styles Clash on Connor through a door.
Yeah, off the second rope through a door.
Yeah, off the second rope. These boys tore each other up, but Connor wins, and finally puts the nail in the feud, the rivalry. Now Connor's on social media saying he wants legends. He wants to put people on his resume. So, but I thought this was a really good match. I thought it did what it needed to do perfectly for this feud. Connor staying on top. I loved it. I never think these guys are really done. They're just kind of done for now, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the story always continues. But big, huge main event. But now we move on to June, and it's going to be called Dreamwave Born for this. 2 additions we notice on the poster right away. Colby Carino stuck in there. Jack Cartwheel.
Yeah.
And that's Vert Vixen up front right there.
Yes. Yeah.
So a big, Defy champ. And so this is going to be a big show. This is the first of 4 shows between June and August. Even though the show went off with, Connor on top, after beating Christian, the question is now where we go. You know what I mean? What happens now?
Right.
So it's going to be a big summer. So the stress jumps back in tomorrow, Dylan, as it's time to buy tickets again. DWTIX.net, Dreamwave. It's going to sell out super fast. This is only 1 show in June, only 1 show in July, and then we're back for a double shot in August. So, but tickets are going to go fast. And Dylan, you can tell everybody how quick they can go sometimes.
Yeah, real quick before I get into the tickets, I got notifications turned on, and it was announced why we were recording tonight. Official for Born for This on June 14th. Maggie Lee defending the women's title against Vert Vixen.
Oh,
that's gonna be show stealer. They've had a couple matches recently.
Yeah, you saw them wrestle live, right?
Yeah, I saw them live up in Chicago. Just a terrific match, and then they had a triple threat down in Texas just a week or 2 ago. That again just killed it. Like I said, that just came out within the last hour or so. And those Monday mornings, they can be a little bit stressful. The last show, it was 90 minutes. I kid you not, the front row tickets, I will have my phone ready, pulled up, everything ready to go. as soon as that clock hits 10 o'clock, sometimes I'm able to get tickets. Sometimes just in that split second, I'm already getting moved down to the second row. Like front row will be gone instantly. And, the show in general, 90 minutes last time. That's what we're working with here.
Yeah, that's how quickly they go. So the July show already on sale right now. Summer Spectacular, dwtix.net. General admission is available. This one is outdoors, so plenty of seats available. Basically can't sell out. Get your tickets. It's going to be a big one. So, all right, man. Well, big weekend at Dreamwave, man. Glad you made it there back safely. I look forward to seeing everybody back in June for this big summer we're going to have. So, all right, let's move on. Let's talk about we got some new content here on the Sit Down Marks podcast, and it's got to do with my boy Primo here, because Primo's got a pod called Cheap Pops, because, us here at Sit Down Marks podcast, we promised you, that in 2025, we're going to up our game. We're going to be cranking out more content, and we're bringing you just about average of a pod every week. Well, with this brand new edition of what Primo's got going on here, guarantee, you get a podcast from the Sit Down Marks podcast every week to listen to, no matter what you're doing. And Primo's new podcast, I'm gonna let him explain to kind of what it's all about. The first one is already out. Go check it out. Go download it. The first one got really good response. A lot of people are really liking it. And so I'm going to let Primo kind of talk about what he's got going on here.
Yeah. So, myself and DB and the guys talked, and we decided, like he said, our hope for anybody that listens to our podcast is just to give you guys as much content as we can. So we came out with me doing this little bit of a mini series in between those off weeks. On those off weeks when we're not necessarily giving you guys a full episode, I can give you a short 15-20 minute talking about whatever comes out my ass, really, right? But it's this past time it was the 2025 Slammies that are coming up. I went through those. These 15-20 minutes can be. Any fan submissions are welcome. I mean, I'm gonna do things that we don't normally would talk about on this main podcast. And don't get it twisted. It is every bit of Sit Down Marks. It's still part and under the Sit Down Marks banner. So all of this is just to increase our exposure to you guys. It's not anything different. It's just another. It's like think of it as a little bonus episode, that we give you. So basically, this past one we did was Slamming the Slammies 2025. I went through the upcoming nominations, and those, if you could still go listen to that podcast now, and it'll still be relevant to you because the actual Slammies are on the 20th. At WrestleMania. So no, but that's what we're doing. And like I said, if you guys have any kind of suggestions for me to talk about for that 15-20 minute segment, let us know. Other than that, you're gonna have to listen to me, hear me talk about what I want to talk about.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah, so that's gonna be coming, at least once, sometimes twice a month, for you. So, go check it out. Go download that first episode. You'll get an idea of what Primo's talking about. It's like Primo is just sitting down and talk to you guys, about stuff that's going on in the world of wrestling that probably a lot of times maybe we won't be able to cover here on the podcast. So a lot of times it'll be things of what's going on, like the Slammies and that kind of stuff. So go check it out, and also go check out tpublic.com/sitdownmarks and get yourself a t-shirt. I think if you act now, you might can still get one for about $16. Get it to your house for about 23 or whatever. Go be a part of the best kept secret in wrestling podcast. So I want to thank everybody listening today on Apple, Spotify, Audible, all those podcast platforms, and including SportsWire Radio. I want to thank Thomas Bryce for all the support over at SportsWire Radio. So what's coming up on the podcast, you say? Well, later this week, we're going to be sitting down on Wednesday with Cody Kaiser. And boy, does he have a deal for you. And Cody Kaiser, well, he's always trying to sell deals to people, during his wrestling matches. He's always trying to make deals. He's trying to, he's all about that $9.99, for 40 easy installments of, $29.99. He's always offering deals to people. He's probably going to be trying to cut deals with us, and, I'm try to do my best, not to fall for his tricks and gimmicks, but Cody Kaiser, up and coming independent wrestler in Zawa Live. You've seen him at Dreamwave too. He's been in the Good as Gold Rumble before. Super cool dude, super hungry guy. He's got a gimmick, we've never seen before. Guy comes, to the ring with a headset on, trying to sell the fans deals. We've never seen anybody, do that before. So, so it's super cool. So he's going to be coming on and, come check it out, man. Listen to what Cody's got to say and you'll kind of, have an idea. Of what Cody Kaiser is all about. So, and then after that, man, we're going to be sitting down with Justin Stumpy Refstick. He is the owner of Homegrown Wrestling, which the podcast is going to be at May the 3rd in Chenoa, Illinois. I'm taking the podcast to Homegrown Wrestling. The main event is going to be a 20-man battle royal featuring guys you've heard of, Theseus, and a guy that's been on the podcast before. His name is Hartenbauer, is going to be in that battle royal. So we're going to be talking to Justin about, what exactly Homegrown Wrestling is all about. And what it's all about here in Illinois. And we're going to be talking about that big show coming up in Chenoa, Illinois, that the Sit Down Marks are going to be a proud sponsor of. So also, too, I want to tell you, we're going to be at Social Experiment Wrestling later on this year. You can put it on your calendar now, October 25th, making the drive out to Mason City, Iowa. Social Experiment Wrestling. They're putting on a big wrestling vendors festival out there. And so we are actually one of the first podcasts to sign up for that. So when we go out there, we'll talk to you guys, give you some free stickers, some free merch, and learn you up about the Sit Down Marks podcast. So we're going to be in Mason City, Iowa for Social Experiment Wrestling on October 25th. So make sure you mark your calendars for that. So, all right, boys. It is time to return to that time of day, and I'm going to get you out of here on this, man. We know Randy Orton don't have a match for WrestleMania. We didn't talk about that, but, that was on purpose. Fantasy book me something real quick. Who do you think Randy should, I think they should pull, this is your wide open legend spot right here, right? He used to be the legend killer. He's talking about these voices, talking to his head again. Bring in a legend, man. Let him RKO the shit out of him. We don't need to see him against against the fucking Bloodline Solo. I'll take against Nick Aldis. I'll watch that. But
I was going to say, why won't Nick Aldis take the suit coat off and get in there and show him who held that 10 pounds of gold not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? I think that'd be great. I'd be down for that. I also got to say, when Kevin Owens announced the neck injury, I confess that I was texting my brother and I was saying, oh shit, Kevin Owens, he's wearing a pink jacket. He was wearing a Bret Hart jacket. He did that shit on purpose because he's wearing a pink jacket. And I thought he was swerving us a la Mark Henry pink jacket. And
right.
So that's where I thought this was going. And I thought that even this week, I was like, man, is Kevin Owens coming back to attack him? But anyway, I think that Nick Aldis would have been a good pick. Other than that, I don't know. I saw somewhere that Alexa Bliss doesn't have a match. So somebody's like, there's Randy's opponent.
Right. I mean, can we give him Batista maybe, or I don't
Batista, know. He's long retired, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
But
I'm just I'm trying to think of.
We could pull in a Hendry.
Who's he got beef with?
Ooh.
He's like
random. You know what I'm saying? Pull in somebody from the multiverse.
TNA.
Pulling somebody from TNA.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I kind of like you guys. I would have loved it to be Nick Aldis, but we haven't seen Sami Zayn on TV. I thought maybe he comes back. It looks like Malachi Black's coming back.
I did see that too.
For him.
Yeah.
Talking about a legend, Undertaker can always have one more match. Why not? Dust off the duster. Where's Goldberg at?
Sure.
We don't got the Saudi money, but get Goldberg up in the bullpen.
Vegas money.
I don't know. Even at this point, it's like a weak build, so it's not really a build to it. It would just be throwing him on there.
It'll be a surprise. Yeah.
So
That
That'd be
alone
Nick
will keep
Aldis.
me
Why
tuned
not?
in. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think just come out at Mania, just be like, get a mic, I don't have a match, bring somebody out, it'd be a surprise. Randy laughs, RKOs, we're out of there. That's all.
I
we
saw
need,
a
really, right?
meme
Like,
the other day. It was when John Cena was in the crowd trying to get that Undertaker match.
yes.
They said it was a meme saying this is Randy Orton this year. He's gonna be just a spectator.
Yeah, it could work. It could work.
Maybe he'll get Chad Gable since Chad Gable doesn't have anything going on.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right. All right, boys. Well, that's going to do it for our WrestleMania 41 preview show. Make sure you come back here next week and check us out for the WrestleMania Aftermath show. Reminder, get those tickets for Dreamwave, dwtix.net, and go back and watch the replay of Uprising 5 and Dreamwave X on iwtv.com. And so, all right, boys. Here we go, man. Mania's on the way. Let's get it, man. I'm excited for the weekend. So, like, I'm more excited about this and probably maybe the Super Bowl this year because, gonna make some food, that kind of stuff, Well, maybe not.
Love it.
Dylan's an Eagles fan, so
Go Bird.
I
forgot about that.
So, but yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm ready to go, man. It's gonna be a fun weekend, 2 nights. I'm pretty excited about the card. So, all right, boys. Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it. AJ, go fuck yourself. You didn't show up. Just kidding. Yeah, no, AJ couldn't make it with us. Hopefully be back at the Aftermath show. But if you guys don't know, hang around for the Easter egg segment after the music. Billy Gunn don't like AJ, and we're going to remind him of it. So for Dylan Primo, I am DB, the Dirty Bird. Thanks for listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys Wednesday. Got a new pod with Cody Kaiser, and we'll see you guys after that. For the boys, the Marks, we're top guys. Gonna stay on top, baby.
Always.
All right, so those of you who may not have heard before, Billy Gunn, not a fan of AJ's. Proof in the pudding, right here.
All right, guys, what's going on? DB Primo, first off, let me congratulate you on your 100th episode of Sit Down Marks podcast.
Thank you, man.
I'm happy for
Thank
you.
you,
I'm
Mr.
glad
Ass.
it's a up and going podcast. I know we're leaving somebody out, but does it really matter that AJ's a part of this? Because he really contribute? I mean, you guys talk nice about me all the time, and then AJ sits over there in the corner like a little bitch and doesn't say anything and just wants to talk about how the feud with me and him. First of all, there is no feud, AJ, because I don't even know who you are. So for me to know who you are would mean that I'd have to know who you are, and I don't. So that means me and you got nothing going on. Other than I'm better than you, and that's just how it goes, and you're not even close to me because you couldn't even warm me up, let alone even lace up my boots. If I had laces in my boots, because we all know I don't. But I'll tell you what, you can pull my Velcro across, you can take my little underwears that I wear, you can put them on me, make sure that they fit tight, because that's about all you're good for. So, and of course, if you're not down with that, well, you know what? If you're not down with the Marks podcast, we got 2 words for you. Scissor me.
AJ said he's only pissed because AJ's the only one that ever kicked out of the Famouser.
Yeah.